on the agenda, we have facilities listed as a subcommittee. Is it a subcommittee of finance or is it its own?
It's a standing committee.
That's what I thought.
Facilities
Okay,
is a standing committee.
Right. So we just need to change it to one of the standing committees instead of a subcommittee.
Oh, it was only halfway early.
I thought according to the bylaws it was a subcommittee of finance. I'm wrong.
Right. It's a standing committee.
I think it used to be, and in the new bylaws, it's now a standing committee.
Okay. All right.
Okay. All right. So that changed to the agenda. Any other changes or additions to the agenda? Okay, may I have a motion to approve the agenda with the change that facilities will be listed as a standing committee rather than a subcommittee?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. Any discussion? All right. All in favor? Robbie?
Aye.
Paul?
Aye.
Rodney? Rodney, I'm sorry. I think you were muted. Okay. I think you're still muted, but I saw you say aye. Okay, there you go. Nicole?
Aye.
Benji?
Aye.
Michelle?
Aye.
Okay, any opposed? All right, motion carries. All right, so the agenda is approved. Brad, do we have anyone who has posted anything to make a public comment?
No, ma'am.
Okay, thank you so much. Please let us know if that changes. All right, so now let's take a look now at the minutes. Are there any changes or additions to the minutes for either the July board meeting or the executive committee meeting minutes?
So I was just testing you, Jane, to make sure that you were, on top of it.
Hey, I need that testing a lot. Trust me. I'm glad that I caught it.
Yeah. So under the board development committee, there is one change that we need to make. It says in the minutes that we would like to amend the bylaws to add facilities as a standing committee. And actually, we had already added facilities as a standing committee. And so the motion was actually just to modify the number of standing committees in the paragraph that discussed the committee. So when we had added facilities, I didn't go back and add the specific number of committees or modify the number of committees to reflect the full number. And so that's what the motion was for, was not to add facilities, but it was just to reflect the accurate number of standing committees.
And what is that number, Michelle?
I knew you were going to ask me that as soon as I said that. So, we can look on the agenda.
I think it's 6 now. I think
that's 6. That's correct. It's 6.
Academic affairs, finance, facilities, resource, board development, and strategic planning.
That's correct. 6.
Okay. Okay. So modify it to say that what we're really adjusting there is the number, but the finance, the facilities committee was already listed as a standing committee in the bylaws because when we revised them, correct?
That's correct. That's correct.
Okay. Any other changes or additions to the minutes from either the July board meeting or from the executive committee meeting minutes? Okay, can I have a motion to approve the minutes with the change to the facilities committee that we are simply modifying the number of committees because the facilities committee was already listed as a standing committee in the bylaws?
So moved.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Yep.
Okay. Any discussion? Okay. All in favor? Robbie? Paul?
Aye.
Rodney?
Aye.
Nicole,
Aye.
Benji,
Aye.
Michelle.
Aye.
Okay, any opposed? And the motion carries. Okay. Now we will have the Athletic Booster Club report, and the Booster Club treasurer, Cindy Register, is going to give us that report. Cindy?
Hi, thank you for your time tonight. So we have been very busy, even though we don't have a lot of activity in athletics right now. We're using this time to kind of regroup and do some things that we have been wanting to take the time to do. So just as a financial report for, or as of the end of the month of July, we had a total balance in the bank of $32,027.14. Obviously, there's not a lot of activity during the summer, but we do have some purchases that we are anticipating here very soon. You may be aware, but we have approved some projects that we wanted to be able to add to the school for the athletes to use, as well as maybe even the other students as well. One of our large purchases that we have actually almost have a delivery date on, so we're very happy about that, is we have purchased padded chairs to be used in the gym for the teams, and so we're anticipating those to be delivered very soon. We have purchased enough padded seats for the home team and for the visiting team to use, as well as I think there'll be a few extra to use around the scorekeeper's table. We have also are in the process of purchasing a camera to be used in the gym. That camera will enable us to be able to live stream any events that are going on in the gym. So I'm really excited about that. We'll be able to see or watch online any game that's played, but also think about the other things that we can watch. We'll be able to watch things like graduation, student presentations, anything that we choose to live stream, we'll be able to use that camera for. We have placed an order and expect them to be delivered any day. We have ordered a face mask for all of the teachers, the staff, and the administration at school to be used as in their day-to-day activities on campus or wherever they choose to use those. They'll say News Charter Athletic Booster. I think it actually says NCS Athletic Booster Club. So we're very glad to be able to offer that to the teachers, administration, and the staff for all that they do for our school. We are also in the process of having a trophy case built to be used in the front lobby of the gym. The one that we have is, it needs some help. So we will be replacing that shortly. We are also in the process of having championship banners made for the gym. Those will, we're working with Coach Browning on those. And so we'll have a uniform look for all of our championship teams, as well as for the championship individual athletic events. So we're excited to be able to put those up very soon as well. We will have our online gear store opened probably by the end of the week. We'll be offering for all students or family members, staff, teachers, whomever would like to participate. We will be offering a couple of different graphics on short sleeve, long sleeve t-shirts, crew neck sweatshirts, as well as hoodies. And then I believe we're also going to have some stickers and things like that that maybe the students would like to use on their Chromebooks or computers. Our big push right now is getting our membership campaign going. That is going to look very different than it has in any years past. So we're a little late in getting that started. The biggest difference will be that we will not be able to include gate passes in our membership packages. So we've had to go back and change all of our literature on that. We're a little concerned about how that's going to impact our bottom line. We think it's going to probably dramatically affect it, but we're getting ready to push that out. So I would encourage anyone that would like to reach out to one of us. We can certainly provide you those forms. They should be finished up either tonight or tomorrow. So we'll be able to start campaigning to get our membership drive going. Are there any questions?
So Cindy, this is Robbie Taylor. You mentioned the gate's going to go away, and I had heard that. I knew that. So what is that? can you tell us what the membership is going to provide, or what it's going to look like?
Actually, I can't give you details right now, Robbie, because I don't have it in front of me. I can give you, generally, you'll be able to get the same things as far as you'll be able to get recognition at certain levels on the wall in the gymnasium. There'll be some gear to go along with it, T-shirts, stickers, caps, koozies, things like that.
I got you.
We are exploring the Booster Club actually purchasing some of the online access passes to include in those, and that's right now what we're trying to finalize to see if we can make that work as at least an added perk. A lot of our memberships are purchased because the family may not be able to afford to pay gate admission to go into every one of their child's games, so we're trying to find a way to make those parents be able to have a way to see their kids. Hopefully we'll be back in the gym.
Yes. Okay. Well, I appreciate that. I know I was on the Booster Club meeting the other night on the Google Meet, and y'all are doing a lot of work, and it's definitely appreciated by the board.
We're glad to do it.
Any other questions? Thank you, Cindy, for your presentation. And as Robbie said, thank you for everything that you all are doing. I wrote down, it sounds like there's a lot of great things going on. I'm excited. I'm especially excited about the camera and the possibilities of how we might be able to use that, not only in athletics, but I love that you all are already thinking about how we can use that to benefit the whole school through things like commencement and things like that. I think that's really important, and I know that especially this year we will be able to put that to good use.
It's the perfect year to do that.
Exactly, but I'm sure that we'll be able to do that every year moving forward, and that'll be great for people who aren't able to get to a game or aren't able to get to commencement or whatever is going on. So appreciate that. And I'm sure that the faculty and staff and administration will be very grateful for the masks as well, which again, not something that we thought we would be doing, but I love the idea, and I'm sure that everyone at the school will really appreciate the thought behind it. So thank you for that.
We're glad we could do it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for being here tonight.
Thank you.
Okay, let's move on. As far as I know, we don't have anyone from student government, but just wanted to check and make sure. Brad, you haven't seen anything from them, right? We don't? Okay. All right, we're going to move on. Okay, superintendent's report, Dr. Edwards. Take it away.
Hi, everybody. Good to see you. The last meeting, there was so much to report with our return to school plan. So I'm actually quite pleased that I don't have a 45-minute need to take up your time this evening. I've got a couple of things I want to touch base on, and then Ms. Nowinski is going to share some exciting news about a new testing that we have acquired. But as you know, school is back in session. Our high schoolers are in week 2 of the school year, and in being on campus. And next week, we are excited to bring back our kindergartners, first and second graders. And it is so important to me that I recognize that these students have just done a tremendous job. They've worn their face coverings. They have been exceptional in following our protocols, knowing exactly what to do, listening to us, doing it the first time, just stellar. I think sometimes we forget that our kids will rise to the occasion if we give them a chance to do it, and just absolutely honored that we're able to give them a chance to do that. Additionally, we've had our kindergartners on campus for their kinder assessments, and they too are they're just crushing it. Those little souls just come out and they've got their face masks on and they're bebopping around campus, and they're just, it's been so great to see kids back in school. I don't think we realized just how much we missed it until we were actually able to see it. I know that the admin team is we found ourselves walking around just to see students in classrooms because it's been so long since we've seen it. So that has been such a highlight for us. We have been revising carpool a little bit, fine-tuning some things to make sure that we are allowing time and space for our COVID protocols. Families are doing a great job of getting those checklists completed in the mornings. The temperature checks are going great. Honestly, I mean, we could not have had a better start. And so I want to make sure that we highlight that. Canvas is coming along. K-12 implementation, it's getting better and better. We're continuing to flex on that. It's a fluid process of streamlining, setting expectations, and then enforcing those. So we are continuing to work on that. We are also starting to streamline communications from the school. So I will send out a weekly memo on Monday just to let families know what's coming. I sent one yesterday and one last week. And then beginning this week on Fridays, we will have a notification from our K-5 Academy leader, Ms. Matthews, and from our 612 Academy leaders, Ms. Sugg and Ms. Nowinski. And so those will be intentional conversations that we will send through email. Hopefully that will spark some things that families can talk about at home, and then also may spark some things that will help build a stronger partnership with our school team. And then just making sure that everybody knows we are continuously interested in parent feedback, and in those communications on Friday, we will be asking for our first round of parent feedback. How's it going? What are your challenges? What are your wins? And continuing to monitor and improve our strategies, our methods through some of those data points that we're going to get from our families. Next item is ADM. Just want to touch on this for a moment. Day 20 for us is next Friday. So that will all shore up next Friday for us. Right now, we are holding at about 940. We budgeted for 965. And the state will not give us anything less than 942 because that was our ADM for this year. So we've still got several days to go, but wanted to just update everyone on where we are right now with that. In terms of the modular update, we're coming along. The area where it's going to be placed looks fantastic. We have been able to level things out. We spread out the dirt. If you haven't been by to see it, I certainly encourage you to do that. It looks really nice back there. We're going to get the footings put in, and then it'll be placed, and then it's just going to be fine-tuning all of those other pieces that need to come in, wiring, fiber, all of those things to get it ready for our students. So those are some really key things that are happening right now. And unless anybody has any questions about those, I'm going to let Ms. Nowinski take it away and talk about our new assessment.
Hey, Melissa, real quick. I think originally you said that, I think it was when we did the survey about full on campus versus on versus a blended model. I think it was like a third, and a third roughly in the surveying we did originally. Is that correct? Mm-hmm. And then, so what, do we have an idea of what percentage of our students didn't come back this year?
That is a great question. In terms of like withdrew or?
Yeah, because I know there was a look across all the school systems, right? There was a lot of, parents that had different viewpoints about coming back, don't come back. I was just curious how many we actually had that didn't come back that we then had to replace off the wait list.
I can answer that while Ms. Nowinski talks and then circle back to it, if that's okay.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you.
Okay, then I will go ahead and get started. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk about our NWEA MAP assessment that we are getting ready to implement. Just a brief background, the NWEA MAP test is a computer adapted assessment that's used by over 11 million students in the United States. And when a student takes the MAP test, which stands for Measure of Academic Progress, they answer questions, and if they answer them correctly, the computer automatically gives them a more challenging question. And then conversely, if they get a question wrong, they get an easier question, and the computer continuously does that. so that we can get a really accurate picture of where a student is in their learning at that time. We will be doing this 3 times a year for kindergarten through 10th grade, where in the past we've had some level of this for kindergarten through 3rd grade, and only in reading. MAP is going to give us real-time learning information on our students from kindergarten through 10th grade in reading and math, and then in science for 5th and 8th grade, because that's where they have their EOGs. So what are we going to do with this, and how is this going to help our school move forward? So first and foremost, we're going to receive a really strong picture of how our students are doing in kindergarten through 10th grade with their learning compared to students across the nation. Not at the end of the year, like we're used to, but throughout the year, beginning of the year, middle of the year, and end of year. It's going to give us information on a student's strengths and areas of need for specific skills and standards that we need to work on. And it's going to help us really target instruction and better support not only our struggling students, but also be able to challenge our students who are ahead. And then we can set personalized learning targets for each student. This is a new process. It's a big process, and there's quite a bit of information that we will be able to get from all of this. And so data is only as good as the knowledge of the person who's analyzing it. And so with our NWEA implementation team, we will be providing teachers and staff with training on that on October 7th. This is the end of the quarter where we can really sit down and do a deep dive into the MAP data. And NWEA will provide that training, not only to understand the information that we gained, but also help us use that information to drive our instruction and impact student achievement in a positive way. In addition to all of that, NWEA has developed proficiency projectors so that aligned with the North Carolina EOGs for grades 3 through 8. So we will know with about 83% accuracy based on a student's beginning of the year MAP score, what they will be scoring on the EOG at the end of the year. And then in the middle of the year, we can look at their score then, and it will tell us, it will predict again where we think they'll fall, and again at the end of the year. So this is a real game changer for our school. It's giving us a lot of really great information on student learning, and will help us drive our instruction throughout the year when we need it the most, and not just at the end of the year when we get an EOG score, which doesn't help us a whole lot when the kid moves to the next grade level. We have some real-time information about student achievement for kindergarten through 10th grade, which is amazing. Super excited. So if you have any questions about that at this time, I'm happy to answer.
Nikki, this is Jane. Do I remember correctly that the reason that it's K through 10 is because they don't offer it for 11th and 12th grades?
Yes, they offer, they do offer something for 11th through 12th grade, but in my experience with NWEA MAP testing, the growth measure is so small for 11th and 12th grade that it's really hard to use that information really well. So it's a little bit more difficult and probably isn't going to be as meaningful for us.
Great, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Ms. Nowinski, I had a question. You said that these tests compare our students to children across the nation, correct?
Yes, it's nationally normed.
Okay, but then is it also normed to the North Carolina Standard Course of Study as well, to specifically, you were talking about the, maybe areas of deficiency or, something along those lines. So does it specify what North Carolina Standard Course of Study objective, I don't even know what you call it, but that we are deficient in? Does that make sense?
Yes, and so the North Carolina Course of Study is closely aligned with the Common Core standards. that, if you remember, several years ago was adopted by most states across the nation. So it's normed according to those standards. And then again, they did a big research project. I don't remember the date. I can send that to you, but it was several years ago where they looked at NWEA MAP scores and compared them and did some alignment with where kids scored on their North Carolina EOGs and did some alignment there. So that's where we get the good predictors of, you know, if a student scores this at the beginning of the year on their MAP test, it's likely that they will score a 4 on the EOG at the end of the year. So they did some extensive alignment work there, so we could have some good predictors. And they say with their study, it's 83% accurate as to aligning the MAP score with North Carolina end of grade tests.
Okay, and that was my next question. Is that projection from the first test or the second test or the third test?
All of it.
All of it, okay.
So our hope, you know, obviously our hope is that our students are going to grow in their learning, and we're going to know that in the middle of the year based on beginning of the year data. So it continues to grow and measure. And so, you know, in the beginning of the year, they might, let's say the predictor is that they're going to score a 3 on their end of grade test. But in the middle of the year, based on their score, because they've grown so much in their learning, now they're projected to do a 4. So we can monitor that throughout the year based on that information.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Ms. Nowinski? Thank you so much for that. It is very exciting. Those of us who like data are going to be thrilled with this. I think it's really going to help us as we work through strategic planning and lots of other projects that we have going on at the school, and just really to give you all the information that you need to know where to direct your attention and your resources and all of that. So very, very, very excited. Thank you for that. Thank you for telling us all about it.
Yes, thanks. I'm super excited.
That's great. Dr. Edwards, did you have more?
Yeah, so just, Rodney, I'm going to have to circle back to you on that number. I want to make sure it's 100% accurate before I give it to you.
That's okay. Thank you.
So a couple of things that are in the works right now that I just want to bring up so that it's kind of just on the radar a little bit. Policy and procedure review. We did send our handbooks to an outside counsel for review. So there are possible revisions that might be forthcoming. We can address those as they come, but I just want you all to know that that's currently in the works. And then also we are preparing to manage a Google situation. Brad let me know when I had sent this in that it was possible, but as of yesterday, it is certain that at the end of September, Google is going to no longer allow us to utilize their services for free in terms of access to certain platforms like Google Meet. And so we are going to have to review that and consider our options there. It's about $4 per user, but that's only for teachers. It is and TAs. It is not for students. So it is much more manageable than we thought, but just want to put that out there as well. That's something that will be forthcoming in September.
Great. Thank you. Thank you for giving us a heads up about that. Not much we can do to control Google's decisions, but always good to know what's coming at us. Any questions for Dr. Edwards from anyone? All right. Thank you so much for your report. As always, it sounds like things are going really well. Really excited that the first week or so of having students on campus has gone well. We've seen around the country that is not necessarily the case. K-12 and university level schools are really struggling with that, and the fact that and I'm knocking on wood because I'm superstitious enough to do that, but the fact that things are going well for us, a week and a half in, is really a testament to the planning that you all have done, to the countless hours that you have spent making sure that it would go smoothly. And so please pass along to all of the administration, faculty, staff, everyone, that we're really grateful for everything that you all are doing to make sure that this goes smoothly. I know that this is a year that none of us anticipated, but I feel really happy that you all are seeing smiling, happy faces coming into school, and hopefully that'll continue as we bring more students back. So thank you again for everything.
Thank you.
Absolutely. All right, we are going to move on to the executive committee report. The executive committee did meet on August 14th at the request of Dr. Edwards, and my report is going to be very short because we met to consider and vote on approving the NWEA map testing that Ms. Nowinski just talked about. So everything that's in the minutes is basically what Ms. Nowinski just presented, and the executive committee felt strongly that this was a great expenditure. It was a budget neutral expenditure, and so we went ahead and approved it. So that quick little executive committee report. Let's move on to our standing committees.
I'm sorry, just a minute, Jane. I think, Michelle, don't we need to ratify that vote? Am I correct?
Yes, it needs to be presented to the full board for approval or ratification.
Oh, alrighty then. So do I have a motion to ratify that? Is that how that works?
Yeah, so moved.
Okay, great. A second?
Second, it's Benji.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. Any discussion? Okay, then all in favor. Robbie?
Aye.
Paul?
Aye.
Rodney?
Aye.
Nicole?
Aye.
Benji?
Aye.
Michelle?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Thank you, Nicole, for keeping me on track with that. Appreciate it. All right, now let's move on to standing committees. Academic Affairs, Dawn is not here, but I do not think that Academic Affairs met this month. So I think we can move on to Finance. Benji?
Yes, this is Benji. I'd like to present some highlights from our finance meetings. Finance Committee met on August the 12th. We reviewed the final 2019-2020 fiscal year budget. And good news there, we ended the fiscal year with a $500,000 surplus, $534,620.24. So I had a very strong year. Next month's meeting, part of that will be Dr. Edwards will present her recommendation to the full board, first to the Finance Committee, then to the full board, the amount that we would like to transfer from our operating account to our reserve account. So that will be coming up next month. Also talked about per pupil allocation from the state has increased by $156. It's now $5,900.18. That was another highlight from our Finance Committee meeting. And we also talked about July budget. For the month of July, had a revenue of $514,215.26. Our expenses for the month of July were $615,129.62, which gave us a monthly deficit of roughly $100K. And that was just a timing issue due to the per pupil allocation from the local sources not having been received yet. And that normally is in arrears anyway, so it's going to balance itself out as we go through the year. I just wanted to mention that as well. And also wanted to present our monthly account balances. And these are as of the end of July. So as of July 31st, in our operating account, we had $897,182.84. in our reserve account, or our savings account, as some people call it, there is $852,270.10, and that is as of the end of July. That is it for me. Just like to the information I provided for the July budget, need to have a motion to approve that.
So this is Robbie. I so move that we accept the July budget as reported.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion or questions for Benji? Okay, all in favor? Robbie?
Aye.
Paul?
Aye.
Rodney?
Aye.
Nicole?
Aye.
Benji?
Aye.
Michelle?
Aye.
Okay, any opposed? All right, so motion carries and the budget is approved. Thank you for that, Benji. I'm really excited to see the amount of money that we have, remaining from last year, the surplus, and I'm excited to hear next month how much of that we'll be able to save. That makes me happy. I like putting money away for a rainy day. So very good. Thank you so much for that. Okay. The facilities committee, Robbie?
So Dr. Edwards has already given pretty much the update about the new modular. I think everything else is pretty much running smooth. We're working Josh very hard. He'll be glad whenever we get a few more weeks of school under his belt so that hopefully things will level out. But Dr. Edwards has been doing a great job helping manage that with Stevenson Construction and also with Vanguard. And I think we got some other things to talk about later. But other than that, facilities is good.
Great. Thank you so much. That is good. I'm glad we're on track. Resource, Paul.
So the resource committee met on the 12th of August. We reviewed the draft gifts, donation, and bequest policy. That's discussed edits on that. That's been put forth and communicated to the board, and it's on the Google Drive for comment. And for and so that's being provided here as part of the board packet for that information. And please provide your notes and your direct edits on that Google Docs file online. One of the things that we will need to do is to take a look at timeline and what the timeline need is for trying to have that policy finished, and then also looking out, for the when we do send that out for full board approval in a future meeting, and then also looking at what are some of the related policies, because as we were talking about it, this is just a piece of that overall. When we start getting into the particulars of a resource policy, we have guidelines and dates by which we do certain things, but making sure some of those other guidelines match. And those are some of the things that Dr. Edwards is doing as part of the overall review. So that all seems to have some synergy going behind it. So that will conclude my report. Thank you.
Great. Paul, thank you for that. And just for the other board members, I think, I appreciate that Paul sent that out to everyone. And if people could, before September's meeting, take a look and make comments. I think that that's a really great way for us to streamline our meetings, is to have a lot of that sort of dialogue through Google Docs between meetings, so that we can all have our input on those policies, and then and not have to take a lot of time during the meetings for that. Does anybody have any questions for Paul at this time? All right. Well, thank you, Paul. Board development, Michelle.
Yes, the Board Development Committee met on August the 17th. Mainly discussed the upcoming retreat and training with Dr. Carpenter. right now, I'm trying to get with Dr. Carpenter to get an agenda put together, excuse me, and get the materials. And so as soon as I learn more from him about when that will be available, I will get that information. I also sent out an email asking if anyone had any specific questions they wanted addressed. If you'll look back in the proposal that he submitted early on, it will list the specific things that he will cover in his training. And so if you have specific questions, if you'll send those to me, I'll try to get those to him as well. So hopefully he can get those issues covered or questions covered during his presentation. On the bylaws, I still need to get the signed letter from our chair and our superintendent to be able to submit those bylaws. So whenever you can get together, I know y'all have both been extremely busy with a lot going on. So just whenever you can get that to me, that would be great. And I can get that on over to the Office of Charter Schools. I'm going over my notes here. I think that is it for the board development.
Great. Well, thank you so much. We're looking forward to the retreat. I'm glad, hopefully Dr. Carpenter will get back with you soon so that we can get more specifics on the agenda and things like that. But I appreciate you pointing out that in his original proposal, I think it was on page 6, we can look, anyone who has questions can look at the topics that he said he would be covering. And so if you have questions about that, please send them to Michelle. We are hoping to talk with Dr. Carpenter sometime before the retreat, just so that we can clarify exactly what's going to be included in the agenda and to, give him any details that might make it easier for him to sort of tailor the retreat to our school and our board. So, but thank you for the work that you're doing on that. Does anyone have any questions for Michelle about that or about anything else? And we will definitely get that letter signed and to you, Michelle. Sorry about that. But okay, great. The Strategic Planning Committee, we met on August 12th. And we finished up our discussion that day on the pillar. We've been going through each of the 3 pillars and bringing up topics that we feel probably need to be at least considered for the strategic plan. We finished the academic pillar in that meeting, and that was the last of the 3 pillars. So we now have a list of broad topics that we feel are important enough to potentially be included in the strategic plan, or at least be discussed in the strategic plan. So the other thing that we did at that meeting is I broke our committee down into 3 groups, into 3 small groups, one for each of the 3 pillars, and asked the small groups to meet by tomorrow, which would have been our next meeting as a committee. So instead of meeting as our full committee this time, we are meeting in our 3 subgroups, and those groups are looking at the topics that we came up with for each of the pillars, and they are starting to beginning the process of doing a SWOT analysis. So they're going to look at each topic for their pillar, and they're going to say, in terms of NEWS, in terms of our school, how is this a strength for us? How is this a potential weakness? How is this a potential opportunity? How is this a potential threat? And we'll be framing each of the topics in terms of those 4 things. Each topic might only have one of those 4 things, or some of the topics might actually have all 4. But though that SWOT analysis then that each of the groups is doing we'll come back together as a full committee either 2 weeks from now or a month from now, depending on how long the small groups need. And we will build the full SWOT analysis for all 3 pillars from the work that the individual groups did. And then we will basically be at the point where we will be ready to begin turning this process over to the broader strategic planning group that will ultimately write the strategic plan. So we'll begin talking about how we're going to do that, what that's going to look like. Dr. Edwards and I are going to spend some time really sort of being thoughtful about that. But again, we want it to be a very inclusive and transparent process. We want to include a lot of stakeholders outside of just the strategic planning committee and outside of just the board, although both those groups will obviously be included. But we want to have more input from teachers, from parents, from alumni, from the community, and as we do the work of developing the actual strategic plan. So again, the work that the committee has done and is, you know, coming up on the end of doing is really the groundwork, the data gathering that will help to inform the overall strategic plan. So that's what we did. And so next month, I should be able to report out to you about those small groups and the beginning of the SWOT analysis. Does anybody have any questions?
Jane, will you just remind us what the 3 pillars are?
Oh, sure. So academics, culture, and operations. So excellence in each of those are those 3 pillars. So we divided the topics up into those categories. And there's some overlap, as I'm sure it'll make sense once you see there are certain things that show up in more than one pillar, but it's a good way to sort of divide the life of the school, right? Any other questions? All right, let's move on to old business. Is there any old business that we need to discuss or that anyone needs to bring up? All right, new business, anyone? The only thing that I would like to say in new business is I just want to make sure that we let all of our stakeholders know that we as a board had serious discussions and talked with Dr. Edwards about the format of our board meetings right now. And, you know, because so many, we're asking teachers, we're asking administrators, and a lot of families are sending their students back to campus. And so we as a board really wanted to consider and talk about the possibility of having us meet in person as well. And in conversation with Dr. Edwards and with other board members, we have decided moving forward, at least for right now, that we need to continue to have these meetings be virtual for a few reasons. First of all, right now our meetings are scheduled on Tuesdays, and the campus is closed on Tuesdays now, starting at 5 for 16 hours. Is that right, Dr. Edwards? Okay, for that deep sanitizing and cleaning that we're doing in between the Monday, Tuesday students and the Thursday, Friday students. So we absolutely cannot meet on campus on Tuesdays. So then we talked with Dr. Edwards about potentially meeting on campus on a different day of the week. And what she shared with us, which is common sense, that if we did that, the school would have to be cleaned after that meeting. And we would not only be asking employees to come in at a time that they weren't anticipating in an evening, and a lot of times our board meetings go late, so that the school could be clean in anticipation of students coming and teachers coming the next day. But it would also be an impact to our budget, because we would have to be paying those employees to come in and work at a time that they weren't anticipating having to work, and that is outside of their regular workday. So because of those considerations, we have decided for now to continue to meet virtually. We will certainly continue to monitor the situation. If and when things change, we will consider going back to in-person meetings at that time. But for right now, we wanted to be very transparent with all of our stakeholders that it's something that we considered, but we just at this point feel that these virtual meetings are the best choice and the best thing for the overall new charter school community. So just wanted to make sure everyone was aware of that. Anybody else have anything else to add to new business? All right. Well, it is 6:52. We are under an hour and about to go into closed session. I am super excited about that. Streamlined this meeting. So could I get a motion to go into closed session for personnel and administrative discussion per North Carolina General Statute 143-318.11A6, please?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All right. All in favor? Robbie?
Okay, I'm muted. Aye.
Paul?
Aye.
Rodney?
Aye.
Nicole?
Aye.
Benji?
Aye.
Michelle?
Aye.
Okay, any opposed? No. All right, then we will go into closed session and then come back into open session afterwards. All right, thank you. Okay, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, Robbie is not there. Okay, all right, we are all back. So do I have a motion to approve the personnel recommendations from Dr. Edwards?
So moved.
Okay, and a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion? All right, all in favor? Robbie?
Aye.
Paul?
Aye.
Rodney?
Aye.
Nicole?
Aye.
Benji?
Aye.
Michelle?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Thank you all very much for that. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn. This is Robbie.
Great. A second?
Second.
Okay. I'm assuming no discussion. All in favor? Robbie?
Aye.
Paul? Rodney?
Aye.
Nicole?
Aye.
Benji?
Aye.
And Michelle?
Aye.
All right, so we are officially adjourned. Thank you all very much for all of your help and for your contributions and participation tonight. Hope everybody has a great evening.
Thank you, Jen.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.